Man Up with Mark. Mark talks about everything under the sun. You may agree with him, and again, you may not.
"1960s Science Fiction. My Top 10.
Man Up with Mark. Mark talks about everything under the sun. You may agree with him, and again, you may not.
Okay, this next episode of my top 10 science fiction movies of each decade won't be as long as the first episode. I kind of rambled on incoherently after each trailer. So, on this one, I'll keep it down to a minimum. I'll only mention a couple of things after each of my picks. Okay? Let's get started. Number 10. Panic in Year Zero.
After all these years, I thought I knew you, but you turned out to be a stranger.
We are fighting for our lives, Anne. My family must survive.
Yes, the most shocking experience of their lives. Doubly shocking because it can happen to you. The lawless are on the loose, making it necessary for law-abiding citizens to make their own law.
When I get going, fire a shot over their heads. Maybe that'll upset them.
Right. There are no civilians. We are all at war.
This is civilization's jungle, after the jackals of society have ruthlessly ravaged it, ending the world of decency.
I killed 2 men.
I tried to kill them too, but I missed. I just wasn't a good enough shot.
Yep, 1960s, still into the atomic age and the nuclear threat. Did I say that right? Nuclear? A lot of people correct people when they say nuclear. Is it nuclear or nuclear? Or is it... Okay, I'll quit. Any rate, another black and white, scare people with the nuclear threat. The neat thing about this is Ray Milland directed and was the main actor. He was so busy with his direction and the direction of the actors and actresses that were in this film that the technical part of this movie kind of fell apart. But it was still a cool story, and it makes number 10 in my top 10. My number 9 pick, Crack in the World.
Here is where it starts. 3 miles below the surface, as world-famous scientists, leaders of state, generals of the armies prepare to challenge the infinite.
We have within our grasp the limitless, clean heat of the inner Earth. We can transform all the continents and make a life of plenty for all mankind for the foreseeable future.
They knew that only a missile with an atomic warhead could crack the Earth's impenetrable inner core. Would it mean the end of the world or the beginning of a new life for all mankind?
keeps going, right around the world. What happens then?
Where the landmass is split, the oceans will be sucked in, and the colossal pressure generated by the steam will rip the Earth apart and destroy it.
It isn't possible. It's insane.
Is there anything that we can do?
Pray.
Daring scientists descend into a 1,000-degree inferno with a live H-bomb in their deadly gamble to save the universe.
Ted, you want to call it off? No!
I'll keep recording everything that happens as long as I can.
Sorensen, the whole project is going.
Couple things about this film. It was filmed in Spain because of budgetary reasons. The production costs were much cheaper than England or America. So, Spain it was. The other neat thing about this movie is it was filmed basically in 7 weeks. Number 8. Robinson Crusoe on Mars.
Gravity's taking over, pulling us down. Prepare to eject. Emergency procedure. Blast off when you're ready.
The scorching surface of the fire swamp that is Mars. A world no man has ever seen, and now one man must explore alone. A temporary home is found. How long can a man stay alive? No air to breathe. But suddenly an unexpected source of oxygen. The life-giving miracle of the yellow stones that burn like coal. Here is a modern Robinson Crusoe struggling for survival in a cruel environment. Finding water. Discovering a source of nourishment. But unable to lick the most terrifying problem of all.
You've got to face the reality of being alone forever.
The devastating laser beams with which spacemen from the constellation Orion excavate the rare minerals of Mars. The escaping slave worker who becomes a modern man Friday. The storm of burning ashes whose fury descends on Mars. The polar ice cap and the wild surface storms that cover the planet with freezing cold. The holocaust of searing hell when Mars and a flaming asteroid collide and turn the ice cap into molten lava. The violent celestial bombardment of Mars by attacking humanoids from another galaxy.
Oh yeah, good stuff. More Martian stuff. A little bit far-fetched on how you can live on Mars, but good story. One note, the designer of the spaceship for Robinson Crusoe on Mars the spaceships that were attacking the slaves. He was the same designer of the spaceships for War of the Worlds. Ain't that a coinky-dink? Number 7, Barbarella.
Meet the most beautiful creature of the future. Her name is Barbarella, and she makes science fiction something else. Jane Fonda is Barbarella. Barbarella is a 5-star, double-rated astronavigatrix Earth girl whose specialty is
Love.
Shall I tell you what I would like?
I think I know.
her top secret mission is a real wing dinger. See Barbarella do her thing with the nice angel, with the warm, friendly Iceman, with the cold, evil Black Queen.
Hello, pretty.
With the charming hand-to-hand Romeo. See Barbarella do her thing in the wild, excessive machine.
Sort of nice, isn't it?
In the biting birdcage. In the chamber of dreams. In the labyrinth of love. In the deadly dollhouse. In the palace of pleasure. You find adventure beyond your imagination when you get lost in space with Barbarella.
A couple of notes about Barbarella. One, the band Duran Duran derived their names from the main villain in the movie, Duran Duran. The other point is not necessarily anything about the movie. It was when this movie was made, the motion picture rating system had not started yet. So it basically was rated for mature audiences, or they had a suggestion for mature audiences only. But there was no restrictions as far as what age group could go other than mature. So I got into the theater with my brother at the ripe age of, I think, 9 or 10 years old when this movie came out, and I got to see this on the big screen with my big brother Billy. He got me in because, obviously, he was more mature than I was. Well, older, at least. Number 6, Fahrenheit 451.
Is it true that a long time ago, firemen used to put out fires and not burn books?
Oh, really, your uncle is right. You are light in the head. Put fires out. Who told you that?
Oh, I don't know, someone, but is it true? Did they?
Oh, what a strange idea.
Tell me, that number you all wear, what's it mean?
Oh, Fahrenheit 451.
Why 451 rather than 813 or 121?
Fahrenheit 451 is the temperature at which book paper catches fire and starts to burn.
There's nothing there. The books have nothing to say. All about people that never existed. The people that read them, it makes them unhappy with their own lives, makes them want to live in other ways. They can never really be.
Do you ever read the books you burn?
Why should I? First, I'm not interested. Second, I've better things to do. And third, it is forbidden.
This was an English production. It was filmed at Pinewood Studios, and it was the first production that Universal Pictures did over in Europe. Also, in case you didn't get it, Fahrenheit 451 is the temperature that paper burns. Book paper, that is. My number 5 pick, Journey to the Far Side of the Sun.
2, 1, ignition.
This is a sight our screens have made familiar.
Lift off.
But now, in this split second of time, you can share an adventure unlikely to be repeated in our lifetime. A journey to the far side of the sun.
Over 100 million miles from Earth, hidden from the eyes of radio telescopes by the sun itself. A new planet in our solar system.
So new, so different. You will see nothing on Earth like it.
You completed your mission?
Why did you turn back?
We crashed.
Why? Why?
This picture, again, was a Universal Pictures release, and it was filmed in England. The other name that they were considering for this film, instead of Journey to the Far Side of the Sun, was Doppelganger. If you knew what the movie was all about and saw the trailer, you'd understand Doppelganger. I forgot to mention the years that my last picks, 10 through 5, were made in, what years they were made in. So let's go through that real quick. Panic in Year Zero was 1962. Crack in the World was 1965. Robinson Crusoe on Mars, 1964. Barbarella was 1968. Fahrenheit 451 was 1966. And Journey to the Far Side of the Sun was 1969. Okay, now we're all caught up. My number 4 pick, Fantastic Voyage, 1966.
Screen experience, a startling new kind of excitement. As 20th Century Fox plunges you into the most incredible adventure that man could ever achieve. To make a motion picture that crosses a new frontier may seem impossible today. But now, a film called Fantastic Voyage has broken through in an unexpected direction to create an adventure of astonishing suspense and beauty.
One of the miracles of the universe.
A woman has no place on a mission
I
of this
insist
kind.
on taking my technician.
You'll take along who I assign.
Don't tell me who I'm going to work with.
4 men and a beautiful girl, off on a fantastic voyage, actually entering inside the human body, exploring an unknown universe, unknown dangers.
They're tightening. I can't breathe.
If you thought it was too late to discover something entirely new on the screen, Fantastic Voyage will be a stunning experience. For you are going where no man or camera has ventured before. And when when you come out, you may never look at yourself in the same way again.
Give me your widest beam. Full power.
At the time, this was announced or advertised as one of the most expensive science fiction movies ever made. I think their budget was $5 million when it began, and I think it ended up at $6 or $7 million once they finished. Think about that in today's terms. The designer of the submarine or craft that they traveled in was the same designer that made the Nautilus in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And if you compare them, they do look very similar. Also, one last item. It had Raquel Welch in the movie. Come on. It's Raquel Welch. My number 3 pick, Planet of the Apes, 1968.
Something better than man. Has to be.
The words are Charlton Heston's.
Get out a last signal to Earth that we've landed!
The world he finds out in the galaxy will challenge every idea you've ever had of civilization. A planet where man is the lowest order of living things, and the superior beings are apes. They build the cities, make the laws, the gods, and control the guns that hunt a race of lowly, terrified humans who run wild in the jungles, are caged in the prisons, and stuffed in the museums. 20th Century Fox transforms the motion picture screen into Planet of the Apes.
It's a madhouse! It's a
A great many people worked long and hard to answer the question of what a civilization would be like where the evolutionary process had been reversed and apes were the superior species. Hundreds of technicians and the largest number of makeup artists ever assembled assisted the producers, the writers, the director, and the cast.
Planet of the Apes, beyond your wildest dreams.
The neat thing about this movie, for me anyways, that the majority of the movie, all of the outdoor scenes, the places where they were being captured by the apes, the fields that they were running through, the river areas and all of that, were filmed mainly in northern Arizona, up around the Lake Powell area, Glen Canyon. The beach scenes, anywhere there was a beach and an ocean, they filmed those basically between Oxnard and Malibu in California. If you don't know where Oxnard and Malibu are, for a while I lived in California. I lived in the Ventura area. And when I would travel down to LA to work, I would travel down the Coast Highway, and there were several areas as I was driving I would look at and say, damn, that looks familiar. And by golly, I probably did that because I remember the movie The Planet of the Apes. My number 2 pick, 2001, A Space Odyssey, 1968.
Give me your answer. Crazy for the love of you.
incapable of error.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
What's the problem?
I think you know what the problem is just as well as I do.
Now, a lot of you science fiction people out there would probably say, what the hell is that your number 2 pick for? That should be number 1. 2001: A Space Odyssey? It was a classic. And it was. And it was good. But it's not my number 1 pick. A notable remembrance when I saw this movie, and I saw it in the theater, and I saw it in Cinerama, and it was in Denver, Colorado. My dad had to go down for FBI, some sort of FBI work. He had to go down to the Denver office. Who knows what he had to go down there for? But he decided he would take myself and my 2 brothers. And while we were down there, he thought it'd be cool to go to the Cinerama there, the big cinema. And it was called Cinerama, because it went way around you. But he decided he was going to take us boys to the movie, and what was playing at the time was 2001: A Space Odyssey. We dug it. Me and my brothers, we thought it was great. My dad's comment was, during the moments when the music would be playing and some of the weird cinematography would be happening, his comment did not come out once, came out several times. And he said it loud enough that people in the audience could hear him, and a few of the people snickered and chuckled. And his comment was, what in the hell is this? The other item that's notable is it took 4 years from concept to completion for this movie. My number 1 pick, The Time Machine, from 1960, the very first year of this decade.
Such stories as H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds and Jules Verne's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea have challenged mankind. So today, man is successfully probing deep into the mysteries of the universe. Can he penetrate the greatest mystery of all, time itself? It took the creative magic of George Pal and the fabulous production know-how of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer to catapult you through time into a world that is yet to be.
Why is it that we usually ignore the 4th dimension? You see, we can move in the other 3. As the doctor said, up, down, forwards, backwards, sideways. But when it comes to time, we are prisoners.
And what happens when boy meets girl thousands of years hence?
How do they wear their hair?
Who?
The women of your time.
Up like that?
Show me.
Is this the human race of the future? Or is this the Morlocks, fiendish creatures who live in a weird underground world? And the Eloi, the tranquil sunshine people, who the Morlocks dominate and maintain like cattle, luring them below with the hypnotic wail of the sirens, to feed upon them in cannibalistic horror.
This movie was cool just because of the limitations that it had. One, the budget was under $1 million, less than $1 million. So the scenes that you thought were in England, where it all started, where he met with his friends and scientists, and they talked about the time machine, and those scenes during that time, you thought they were in England. Well, they were not, because it was too expensive to go to England and film it. So it was done in Culver City, California. All of the English scenery, all of the buildings were nothing more than matte paintings and models. So what you thought was England was not. They did it very well. And one other item, because of budget restrictions, a lot of the costumes that were in the time machine were taken from other science fiction movies. For one, Forbidden Planet, the uniforms of the civil defense people. When he reached the time when England was under attack and atomic bombs were going to hit, the characters that were wearing the civil defense uniforms were actually uniforms that the characters from Forbidden Planet wore. Pretty cool, huh? So, those are my picks for the 1960s, 1 through 10. Let me know what you thought about that. Let me know if you have a different 1 through 10 pick. Tomorrow, we're going into the 70s. So until then, see ya.
If you have a question or comment, email Mark at manupwithmark.com. If you have a question or comment, email Mark at manupwithmark.com.